Hello guys, and welcome to the last section for tutorial 1 provided by TKG Games. And what I want to do is we actually want to see how far we're going up with our script so far. So let's go ahead and drag playground and drop it on ball as a component. So remember that scripts are only activated while they're on active game objects, and they have to be within the scene. Okay, so what we can do is we can just go ahead here and click on the color picker and see if that comes up. Okay, so that comes up. We can change the color here, right? And we need the color to red. And when the ball drops on here, we should expect the color to change to red, right? So let's go ahead here and play that for a second. And you guys can see that we get an error saying that it's a variable that has not been assigned. So let's stop that. And I did this on purpose so that we can look at how Unity kind of spits out errors. And this is done through the console view. So for example, if we don't initialize a variable or drag and drop our float variable here, it will throw an error, right? However, if we really didn't really care about that, we can adjust something in code. So what we can do is go back to our code here and say that if the floor is not equal to null, then we can go ahead and actually change the floor's color. So let's go ahead and save that one more time. And if we went ahead now and run that, you guys can see that there is didn't give us a red arrow. It's still saying that some of the variables is never assigned, but that's not the problem here. So what I want to do is we actually want to drag our floor onto this empty variable that's supposed to hold our floor object. So now when we go ahead and we actually play, you can see that when it hits the floor, it changes the color. So we just created an event where the ball hits the floor, it will change the color of the floor. However, this ball is falling forever and it's using resources, right? And what I want to do is that when it's falling down, it reaches a certain distance in the y-axis. As you guys can see right now, the ball is falling down, is going negative, 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 and eventually it's going to reach a certain number. So we can use the y in the position to actually stop the ball, delete the ball, and return to where the camera was looking before. So let's go ahead and actually do that. So what I want to do is go back into our code like we always do to create a method, right, that will delete the ball if the ball reaches a certain distance in the y. So we're going to call this delete ball. Okay, this isn't taking the parameters. And what I want to do is, since this is this script is attached to the ball, we can just access transform right there by using transform in lowercase. So we're going to say if transform.position .y is less than or equal to, let's make this negative 200 because it's falling down. That means it's going towards the negative direction. Okay, so negative 200. Now let's do a bunch of things first. So what I want to do first is we want to reset the camera position to origin. All right, so when I reset it to where it was before, it started following the ball. So what we can do is we can say underscore camera dot position is going to be equal to the original position that we had stored. It's original position that we stored when that object in the wake method, right? The next thing we want to do is we can get an error because the script that's attached to the camera right now is accessing this ball object. So what happens if you delete the ball object? Then this script no longer has this object here, and so it will throw an error. So I think Unity already has taken care of this for us, but most of the time it's good practice to always disable the scripts or completely take out the component that is accessing an object that you have deleted from the game itself, because that's a no good way of leaving a script actually looking for a transform for something when it cannot find it. All right, you might lead to a lot of issues later on. So what I want to do is we want to completely remove this script here. So let's go back into our script here, and what I want to do is we want to remove smooth follow script from main camera. All right, so what we want to do is first we use a destroy method, and then what we want to do is we want to get components. We want to say underscore camera dot want to get component, and that component is going to be the smooth follow script, right? And that is going to go ahead and delete that. All right, that's it. That's all we have to do. And then what we want to do next is we want to go ahead and actually reset the rotation as well. So let me go back into our game here, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and run this one more time. You guys can see that the position of the camera and the z-axis is changing, and so is the rotation. The rotation has to be all 0 zeros when the game actually isn't running. So you guys can see right here the rotation is 0 0 0. So what I want to do is I want to set that rotation back so that it's actually looking exactly the scene. When it comes back, you see the ball is going to be gone when the game is playing. So let's go back to our script, and what I want to do is we want to reset the rotation of the camera. All right, so what I want to do is I want to say underscore camera dot rotation, which is the rotation value, and that's going to equal to, so rotations use quaternions to actually hold the values, and quaternions are different systems that handle rotations in Unity. We're going to talk about that in another tutorial. So what I want to use is quaternion.euler, and want to use vector 3, right, dot 0. So what this is going to do is give us a vector 3 with all 0 values, right? So remember that when we go here, our rotation is all 0 values. So if we use a vector 3 with all 0 values, it resets this to all 0 values. All right, so now that we have that, we can then go ahead now and finally we can destroy the ball. So we're going to go ahead and destroy the ball, right? And we can just say destroy, and then what we want to destroy is the current game object, this game object that this ball is attached to. So next what we want to do is we actually want to keep this inside of our update, because the update is called every frame, and this is going to constantly check for that position in the Y position. All right, the transform the position that Y is constantly going to check that value until it's less than or equal to negative 200. So what I want to do is want to place this. So finally call delete ball. All right, every frame. All right, so every frame is the frame that the game draws the current frame to the screen. And all I want to do is just call delete ball, and we're good to go. So now let's go ahead and save our script. And since we're not using this right here, we can go ahead and actually take that out, and see that should fix Rather's complaints, and then save that. Now we can go into our scene, or yes, and now we can just hit the play right now. Okay, so what I want to do is, you guys can see it's going to drop, it's going to go all the way down, and all I want to do is look at the ball here, and eventually when it reaches okay, so now you guys can see that the ball itself got deleted. If we check on the main camera, you can see that that component that we had, the smooth follow script that we had, is also deleted. All right guys, this will be it for this tutorial. I'm gonna have more advanced tutorials coming up, but what I want to do next is instead of creating longer tutorials, I want to break things down into smaller components. So maybe just talk about translator, talk about the vector 3 systems and other stuff, so it makes more sense, so that when I'm using them later on, you guys know exactly what those components or those properties do. Alright guys, this will be it for this tutorial. It was fun coding with you guys, and subscribe to my channel, and let me know how you feel about this stuff. Alright, bye bye.